What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin Davis for another review today. Respect goes out to iFlight RC for making one of 2021's best quads. Bind and fly 6-inch quads or a 5-inch version that you can get with your money. iFlight has gone from a one office setup and just a few guys starting that company out maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. It seems like now we were getting kind of subpar type of carbon fiber frame kits, and eventually they made their way up the FPV ladder, and now they're at the top shelf of what you can buy. So I've been with iFlight since that very first office, helping them out with their brand and giving them advice. Of course, they're the experts, but as pilots, we like to give our 2 cents. And here we are with the Nazgul Evoque F6X. This is the True X version. They also have the F6D, which is the dead cat version. Today we're going to fly this on 6S. This is something that has everything every FPV guy would want on a quad. I mean, we have the full-size GoPro mount, 6-inch motors on here, HQ props. We have iFlight GPS back here. We have HD digital DJI video on here as well, and full-size DJI cam. So this is the one that everybody's requesting, and how they have stock of this camera, I'm not really sure because they're hard to find, but iFlight seems to have ate up all of the Vista stock and the full-size HD cams from the original DJI camera, which is what most of the FPV pilots want. So and crossfire. I mean, this thing has everything you want on here, and on top of all of it, great components. This has side plates on the side, LEDs, TBS crossfire in the back, so we can really send it out there and get some distance on here with a 6S 1400 milliamp battery. This one is not really going to run something like a Lion type of setup, but you will be able to send this one out there quite a long ways. We're going to see how this battery performs today. We're going to do some hardcore freestyle with this, and I went so hard with this quad that I almost destroyed it about 3 times in this one flight test. So yeah, very lucky to have this back in one piece, because when I got on the throttle with this quad, it was like handing me the keys to a supercar. I went kind of crazy, and it's a good thing I didn't have a supercar, because I might have wiped out and killed myself with this thing. So this is the supercar, and the one, if I could have one quad in 2022 to fly all of 2022, iFlight F6X. This thing is legit. So respect, iFlight. Let's go out and fly. After that, we'll come back to the bench. We'll talk about this guy on the bench and what it's all about. Here we go. Alright guys, welcome back from the flight test. There it is, the new Nazgul Evoque F6X. Sitting there looking pretty strong like a supercar. Oh wait, no, that's not the F6X. That's actually a little toy supercar. This thing does, I swear to God, it does feel like a supercar. This thing is really, really hopped up. Very precise. The tune is like 2 thumbs up. The HD system on here is top shelf FPV system. I have to say, like I was saying before, when we were talking about this in the podcast last week and everything FPV podcast, we were saying that this has pretty much everything on it that most FPV guys would want. It has an HD system. It has GPS return to home on here. It has crossfire. It has an overprotected side plate body setup on here. It's got a GoPro mount in the front, and it has larger motors on here, 6-inch props. Also the original DJI HD camera, which is sought after by so many pilots. And I've talked about this before. This has been in short supply lately, but iFlight seems to have like somehow got with DJI and got a whole ton of Vistas and these original cameras, which everyone wants. I know RunCam and other companies are racing to release their own HD cameras, but still most pilots want this one because it still looks great. So this is the quad of the year. You're looking at this one because I'm calling it quad of the year on the channel because we are at the end of the year. It's time for quad of the year to come out like I always do traditionally on the channel. But I have to tell you, like, if I had one quad for next year to take out on FPV road trip, go fly with my friends in my own personal time, it would be this one. I honestly could say, my roommate Diego, he's been flying 6-inch for years in Oregon. He has some of the most beautiful Oregon footage for long-range footage that you will ever see. It's Diego the Colombian Bean on Instagram. Look up his Instagram and check out some of his 6-inch footage with his new Hero 10. It will blow you away. He has like a reel combo, like a small short clips of a reel from last year, from all the clips from actually this year, and it's amazing. And he loves 6-inch, and now I kind of understand why. I've been a huge fan of 7-inch for a long time, but this has more diversity for use. It will freestyle like a maniac, and I feel like it's more efficient than a 5-inch. You get a little longer flight time. It has a nice float to it, but it's also extremely fast and flippy-dippy when you want it. So not only can you do all that, you can cinema with this guy, and it's really has that extra bit of control over a 5-inch, whereas a 5-inch requires a better pilot. 6-inch is going to let you kind of smooth things out a little longer in those straight ahead shots, but it's not going to be like a 7-inch where it's just kind of mostly a cruiser. A 7-inch at that point, it becomes kind of like a glider or RC airplane. It's very stable, and that's what those platforms are for. You know, getting out there, you go miles and miles and miles out on the 7-inch. You're going to keep the 6-inch a little bit closer, but you have more freestyle and aerobatic capability with this quad. So this one is a Squash X, like we talked about. Configuration, it is over 250 grams, so you would have to register this one, eventually maybe put a transponder on it. Who knows what's happening with all of that. We've got LEDs down the side and on the bottom. You've got green LEDs. You got the iFlight logo there. We have a buzzer on the very bottom, bumper up front, bumper in the back, and 4 motor bumpers here for each motor. These were fun because I knew when I was flying this that the bottom of this was really straight and flat, and that allows me to do those airplane skids. When I'm coming down the street, I can kind of land and kind of bump along on the concrete, and hope you don't hit a crack and flip over, but I was able to do that with this quad and get away with it because of the flat profile, battery on top. I love that stuff. On the very back again, we have the 6S 1400 battery, 2 straps up here holding it back. We've got that angled hard mount back here, which is the XT60 going from the 6S battery in there. That's not my favorite combo. I wish it was kind of straight up and down, but if you have your battery on the back and you're running your GoPro, even with the shorter cables like on the R-line batteries, you can still get it in there. You're not going to run this one on Lion setup because I think the KV is a little bit too high. We'll talk about that in a minute, but you also have TPU mount in the back for your Immortal T for crossfire, which I have set up, and
this mount is actually on 2 M3 bolts. They go through here and allows this to move up and down. That's kind of cool. So you can move this out of the way or take it completely off if you want to. So if you don't want to run GPS, you can unplug it and take this thing completely off, tuck the wire in there, or just take it off the flight controller. And inside we have a new updated flight controller on this. It is an F7 Blitz flight controller from iFlight. It is a mini stack, and what's really, really cool about this is that it has new 55 amp ESCs that are going to handle plenty of power for 6S freestyle. So before maybe it would have been mostly a cruiser. Now you can really hit those high ends of the throttle. We're also rocking some HQ props on here, and I do prefer these. I'll put the link down below for these. They have a nice sort of thin cord in the middle out to a really nice taper on the end. Full-size prop nuts on here. We have Zing motors, and these are beautiful. 4 bolts on the very bottom, and anodized aluminum stator. If I can get this into focus here. I mentioned before they kind of look like Christmas ornaments. They're really, really nice. We have motor wire covers here to keep you from tearing up your wires when you go through the trees for a crash and the scraggle. And we have the Crossfire receiver down here. Right now it's in failsafe because the radio is not on, but you can see that red light there, and you have enough room to get through here with a little bamboo skewer just to bind it up to your radio, which is nice. On the side we have labeled USB-C ports. There's an extra hole here for binding up to your goggles, which is cool. And the Cadex Vista sits in the back seat, and F7 up front. So it actually says Nazgul here, and can't read what it says back here, but it says link button. And it's cool because iFlight puts stickers on everything and labels everything. There was also a sticker around the whole thing telling me to be careful about making sure that I had the antenna on the VTX before I plugged in the battery, which you always want to do because you could burn out your VTX. I'm going to unplug that because that thing is cranking 700 milliwatt, and it's been several minutes now. So you can also get various different GoPro mounts for these quads, which I love. That is the Hero 8 mount, and that's how that fits right on there. Not bad. I guess the only thing different about this one that I would probably suggest is getting yourself a taller antenna, one that kind of clears everything here. It's just barely poking up to the top of the battery there. With DJI systems, honestly though, it hasn't been a problem for me. I would run this the way it is for now, and then get yourself a taller left-hand circular polarized antenna for later. And they also have a TPU mount around that as well, which is cool. So that little shroud around the outside of the antenna post, it helps you just kind of screw it in and out right there really easily. But everything's looking good on here. That's the cover for, they actually give you a nice lens cover for your mount, which is pretty sweet. And again, if I had one quad to fly for 2022 and to take on FPV road trips and stuff, this would be the one. Hands down, quad of the year for me. It's just phenomenal quad. I love it. And I'm so happy that iFlight sent me the HD version because I really got to show you some good DVR footage from this, and I had a lot of fun making the edit. Coming up on the channel as well, I'm going to do more videos with this one. We're going to do some more like cinema long range type video with this. I'm going to show you how 6-inch is a benefit, and kind of the sweet spot for kind of mid-range. I wouldn't say long range, I'd say mid-range flying. So that's my definition of what this quad could be. And mostly 6-inch or mid-range. A lot of fun mountain surfing with them and getting epic cinema video. That's coming up on the channel. And don't forget, guys, on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have Everything FPV podcast. Please do subscribe and check out the links down below. You can use my coupon code BGDavis2021 and hopefully you get a discount on this one. And don't forget, it's on a flash sale right now. It's like $458 for the F6D. That's the dead cat version if you don't want the props in view, or you can get this X version for $469. You can get the analog version for $299. So links are down below, guys. really helps me out when you purchase from my channel directly on my link, so I really appreciate that. It helps me keep the drone camp's lights on. Guys, take care. Happy holidays, everybody, and I will see you on the next one.